You think you know what's coming. You believe you have it all figured out. But let me tell you something, knowledge alone is never enough. You might know what to do. You might know the path. But knowledge, it's a double-edged sword. It can show you the way, sure, but it doesn't walk the path for you. It doesn't hold your hand when the world gets dark. Knowledge stands at the edge, watching, waiting, daring you to act. But that's where most of you fall short. What good is knowing what to do if you're too afraid to take the first step? What good is it if all you do is think, plan, and hesitate? You stand there, paralyzed, while the opportunity slips away. You let fear of failure consume you, choke you until you can't even breathe. And then, the moment's gone. But skill is different. Skill is the hand that moves, the force that makes things happen. Skill gets dirty. It doesn't wait. It doesn't think twice. When you've honed your skill, you don't flinch when the moment arrives. You move because you've trained for this. You act because you've earned the right to act. But skill is dangerous too, isn't it? It gives you the confidence to act, but confidence can lead you astray. You can do something because you know how, but should you? Should you strike just because you can? That's where wisdom comes in. Wisdom stands above it all, above knowledge, above skill. Wisdom doesn't just act because it knows how. It acts because it knows why. It acts because it understands when. Wisdom waits. It sees the bigger picture. While you're lost in the noise of knowing and doing, wisdom steps back and asks, is this worth it? Should this be done at all? You've felt that, haven't you? That pull inside. That voice that whispers when something isn't right. You ignore it sometimes because you want the win. You want the satisfaction of acting. But that whisper, it's wisdom. And if you ignore it long enough, it'll turn on you. It'll devour you from the inside out. You see, knowledge without action is wasted potential. Skill without purpose is dangerous. And action without wisdom? That's destruction. Plain and simple. How many times have you rushed into something, thinking you had it all under control? How many times did it blow up in your face? It wasn't a lack of knowledge or skill, was it? It was that missing piece, wisdom. Wisdom doesn't come easily. It comes from scars, from failure, from the harsh lessons life throws at you when you weren't ready. Wisdom is earned in blood, in sacrifice. But once you have it, once you understand when to act and when to stand down, it changes everything. It's not about knowing. It's not about doing. It's about understanding. It's about choosing your moment. So, think about it. Do you know what to do? Do you have the skill to do it? Sure, maybe you do. But do you have the wisdom to wait? Do you have the wisdom to walk away if that's what needs to be done? Most of you don't. Most of you are slaves to your knowledge. You've trained your skill, but you've neglected the one thing that matters most. You've forgotten that wisdom is what separates the strong from the reckless, the wise from the fools. And that's why you fail. The world is filled with people who think they know. People who are quick to act. But how many of them are still standing when the dust settles? How many of them regret the path they took? You've seen it. You've felt it. You've been there. But now, you have a choice. A hard one. Will you let your knowledge trap you? Will you let your skill push you toward decisions you'll regret? Or will you step back, breathe, and ask yourself, is this right? Is this worth it? That's what wisdom does. It cuts through the noise. It clears the fog. It forces you to confront what's real, what's true, and what matters. So, ask yourself now, before you take another step, what do you know? What can you do? And most importantly, should you do it at all?